Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a really special journey, actually. One that offers a clear pathway, to understanding a spiritual tradition often seen as, well, a bit mysterious. We're going to distill some profound insights from sources you've shared, focusing on a specific text that promises direct guidance.
It's really quite remarkable how this particular book, Songs of Zen, serves as such a practical and accessible guide.
Yeah.
Our mission today, I think, is to uncover its core value and the clear direction it offers for anyone curious about achieving enlightenment in Zen Buddhism. It really is sort of a shortcut to understanding.
Okay, so the material you provided gives us this rare glimpse into this powerful text. Can you tell us a bit more about how it functions for Zen students? Like, how is it typically used, say, during their meditation or retreats?
Absolutely. So this collection of Zen Buddhist Sutras, it's originally translated from the daily Zen Buddhist Sutras of Koko-An Zendo, and it functions like a vital companion. Imagine it not just as something you read, but as a living text, often recited right after Zazen, that's their sitting meditation, and also during these intensive session retreats. It's designed really to be a constant source of encouragement and reflection, much like, a cherished prayer book might be in other traditions.
That context is incredibly helpful. So it's not just an academic volume then. It's much more lived. How did the specific translation of Songs of Zen come about, and what makes its lineage so unique?
That's a great question, because understanding its origin tells us a lot. The translator, Thawewat Penderikvivad, actually practiced Zazen himself at Koko-An Zendo in Hawaii. He was under the American Zen master Robert Aitken Roshi. And this particular lineage is fascinating because it traces directly back to Yamada-kun Roshi of Sanan Zendo in Kamakura, Japan. What's special about this school is its harmonious blend of both Rinzai Zen and Soto Zen traditions, which are usually quite distinct, And the translator was incredibly meticulous. He even rearranged the sutras for, let's say, optimal suitability and focused purely on the essential stuff. He left out certain Pali and Japanese chanting parts that might have overlapped with existing Thai practices. It shows a really deep understanding of how to make these teachings resonate. That level of care definitely comes through. I understand the Areafa Foundation even used this very book for their retreat programs, which were modeled after Zen practices. What kind of feedback did they get? What made the text so, stimulating for people, especially given how challenging Zen can sometimes seem?
Yeah, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Participants found the text deeply encouraging and stimulating, which really speaks volumes about its potency. What makes it so effective, I think, is that it gathers songs and poems directly from enlightened Zen masters. These reflect on profound themes like nature, liberation. These aren't just verses on a page, they're direct expressions of true awakening, like bursts of joy, gentle warnings, crystal clear teachings, profound consolations, even urgent calls to embrace liberation. It's almost like hearing wisdom whispered directly from the source. Now, the sources do mention that a foundational understanding is helpful, but this deep dive really aims to bridge that gap for you so you can truly taste these words, so to speak.
Right, so we're delving into the heart of Zen through these direct expressions, which naturally raises the question, what is Zen itself? Where does it come from? What are its roots?
Zen Buddhism has a truly fascinating origin story. It's essentially a profound blend, you could say a philosophical child born from two parents. On one side, Indian Buddhism especially, its emphasis on no-self and transcending dualities. On the other, Chinese Taoist philosophy, known for its deep love of nature and spontaneous living. This fusion led to that famous saying, Zen has Buddha as father and Tao as mother. It's not just a neat metaphor. I mean, Zen marries this profound spiritual liberation, the no-self idea, with a deep, spontaneous connection to nature and the flow of life from Taoism. It's a path that's both intensely inner and, at the same time, deeply connected to the world around us.
That's a powerful integration. So, given these unique roots, how does Zen translate these ideas into a practical approach for us, living in the world? What are its core concepts for everyday life?
Yeah, Zen's core emphasis is definitely on living life fully, right here in this world. And it's grounded in two pivotal ideas: the universal Buddha nature and sudden enlightenment. Buddha nature isn't some distant goal or something you get. It's presented as something inherent in everyone, the original nature of all beings. It's already there.
Okay, so if this inherent Buddha nature is already within us, why don't we all experience it constantly? What gets in the way? What obscures it? And what's the Zen path to clarity?
That's precisely the issue, isn't it? This inherent Buddha nature is often obscured by what Zen calls fabricated thoughts. These are the constant stream of mental constructs, judgments, narratives that, as the source tells us, create our sense of a separate self. And that leads to all sorts of attachments. They effectively sever our feeling of connection to the external world. So the goal is simple, but profound. When these fabricated thoughts are removed, that separate self and all its attachments just dissolve. Dualities we perceive good and evil, male and female, suffering, happiness, they all cease to be separate things. Everything becomes one with nature, leading to direct awakening or sudden enlightenment. It's like wiping a dirty lens clean, to see the world as it actually is.
That makes perfect sense. So if these fabricated thoughts are the problem, what are the actual practical tools Zen offers to clear them away and find that unity?
Well, the most crucial tool Zen offers to counter these fabricated thoughts is mindfulness, soti. It's the direct opposite of being lost in all that mental chatter. And the primary way Zen cultivates this mindfulness is through zazen, or sitting meditation. It's about developing full awareness, waking up what the Source calls the knowing element within you. This practice helps you break free from the habitual patterns of logical thinking and those endlessly generating fabricated thoughts.
And I know Zen also uses something called koans, these paradoxical riddles. How do they fit into challenging our logical minds?
Koans. Yes, they're fascinating. They're paradoxical riddles or questions that Zen masters use precisely to short-circuit the logical mind. The classic example from our source is a monk asked Joshu, "Does a dog have Buddha nature?" And Joshu famously replied, "Mu." Now, mu itself comes from the Japanese, derived from the Chinese wu, meaning emptiness or nothingness. The practice isn't about figuring out a logical answer at all. It involves focusing entirely on this mu, allowing it to dissolve all your thoughts until, maybe just for a moment, your inner and outer worlds become one. This, we're told, leads to an immediate flash of clarity, a direct insight, a breakthrough that goes beyond intellect. Mu Manekai, a renowned Zen master from the famous Munkin collection, really emphasizes this. He says, dedicating all your effort to mu will lead to sudden illumination like a torch in the dark. His verse is incredibly evocative. Dog, Buddha nature, complete manifestation of all things. The moment you think is or is not, your life strays from the path. It's about letting go of concepts entirely.
Wow. So zazen to cultivate awareness, koans to break through concepts. Are there other essential parts of Zen practice?
Yes, definitely. Beyond the sitting meditation and working with koans, Zen masters also offer direct, personalized guidance. There's Dokusan, which are private, one-on-one sessions with the master, very important. And there's Taisho, which are public Dharma explanations or talks. These three, Zazen, Dokusan, and Pisho, are really considered the essential pillars of Zen practice. They provide a sort of comprehensive path.
And what's the ultimate outcome of engaging in this sustained practice? Does it just end with one big aha moment or?
Well, this sustained practice leads to what Zen calls prajna. You can think of it as a kind of laser-sharp insight that cuts through illusion, allowing you to see things exactly as they are without distortion. As you continue with zazen and grappling with koans, this wisdom deepens, like sharpening a tool, and it culminates in satori, that is the electrifying aha moment of full enlightenment where you suddenly know you are truly awake, a Buddha in this very life. But it's not necessarily a single isolated flash in the dark. It can be more like a gradual unfolding until everything truly clicks into alignment and you perceive reality as unified.
That's a powerful description. Okay, let's unpack these core principles now, the philosophical underpinnings you mentioned. These 5 fundamental principles really define the Zen approach to reality, don't they?
They really do. And the first one presents a pretty radical notion. The highest truth, or first principle, cannot be expressed in words. What's fascinating here is this assertion that ultimate truth is a special transmission outside scriptures, with no reliance on words or letters. It really echoes Taoist philosophy. The Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. Language, in this view, is merely a finger pointing to the moon. The crucial thing is to experience the moon directly, not get hung up on the finger. Master Wenyi, when asked about the first principle, famously replied, "If I tell her with words, it becomes the second principle," just highlighting how ineffable it is. It's an immediate invitation to direct experience.
That sounds incredibly counterintuitive, especially for traditions often built on scriptures and teachings. So if truth can't really be spoken, how does one even practice? Does this lead straight to the second principle, that spiritual practice cannot be practiced with fabricated effort?
Exactly. You got it. This principle directly challenges our usual understanding of effort in spiritual life. The Source explains that any effort born from fabricated thoughts or a sense of a striving self, things like chanting, worshiping, following rituals with an attached mind, it's ultimately seen as, well, Useless. True practice arises when the mind is free, simply observing and dissolving these fabricated thoughts. This allows for a natural, spontaneous way of being. Yixuan puts it beautifully. To attain Buddhahood, no intentional effort is needed. Only method is to perform daily duties normally. Defecate, urinate, wear clothes, eat, rest when tired. Yeah, he adds, ordinary people will laugh, but the wise understand. It's about being fully present in the mundane without striving for anything extra.
That's a huge paradigm shift for many people, I imagine. So if practice isn't about striving, what about the goal? The third principle states, the ultimate outcome is that nothing new is gained. That sounds almost anticlimactic.
It might sound that way at first, yeah. But it's actually a profoundly liberating idea. Awakening, realizing the unity of all things, seeing your inner Buddha nature. These aren't about acquiring something new. Instead, it's about recognizing what has always been within you, just obscured by ignorance by those fabricated thoughts. Huang Hall captures this perfectly. It's merely awakening and opening eyes to one mind, nothing to achieve, he says. If they only eliminate fabricated thoughts for a moment, the origin of all things will immediately reveal itself, like the sun appearing in space, illuminating the universe without obstruction or limits. It's a revelation, not an acquisition. You're not becoming Buddha. You're realizing you are Buddha and always were.
Right, uncovering, not accumulating. Okay, this leads us to the fourth principle, which I find incredibly provocative. Not much in Buddhist teachings. What on earth does that mean? Why would Zen masters say something so seemingly dismissive of their own tradition?
This one is perhaps the most radical, yeah. It asserts that concepts, doctrines, even the very words Buddha, Buddhist, Buddhism, they hold no ultimate meaning in themselves. The only important thing is the direct experience of awakening, period. The source quotes Master Yixuan with this striking, almost shocking instruction to his disciples. Kill everything in front of you. If you meet Buddha, kill Buddha. If you meet arhats on your path, kill them too. Now, obviously, this isn't literal violence. It's a powerful, almost violent metaphor for shedding all attachments to concepts, even the most sacred ones. It's an urgent call to cut through any intellectualization or idolization that might prevent you from seeing reality directly. You must not let anything, no matter how revered, stand in your way.
Wow. That's a truly powerful, unsparing command to break free. Okay, finally, the fifth principle. While carrying water, chopping wood, that is the moment of contact with spiritual life. This brings it all back down to earth, back to the everyday, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And this is where Zen, I think, truly shines. This final principle emphasizes that enlightenment isn't just for the monastery or the meditation cushion. It can happen right in the middle of the most ordinary moments. The source gives that vivid example of Shanyan, who awakened while sweeping. A pebble he swept hit bamboo, made a clack sound, and suddenly his mind was illuminated. Just like that. It's about being fully present in simple actions, allowing awareness to arise directly from the experience itself. This idea of finding the sacred in the mundane is precisely why Zen has had such a profound, inseparable influence on Chinese and Japanese arts. You see it in poetry, painting, rock gardens, the tea ceremony. It's a testament to finding the extraordinary right in the ordinary. There's that beautiful Chinese poem. When sun rises, we work. When sun sets, we rest. We dig wells and drink. We plow and eat. What power of God's can involve us? It captures that spirit perfectly.
We've just explored these profound principles, which can feel quite abstract when we just talk about them. But what's truly remarkable about the Songs of Zen book is how it takes these ideas and brings them vividly to life through poetry. Really direct, visceral stuff, giving glimpses into awakened experience. Let's maybe touch on a few examples of how other masters encapsulate these very insights in their verses.
Yeah, absolutely. These poems act like direct pointers. Take Daiyo Kokushi's poem, simply titled Zen. It cuts right to the heart of that first principle we discussed, doesn't it? It emphasizes the ineffable nature of ultimate truth, reminding us it exists before words, before forms. Its core message is that the deepest reality transcends all our concepts. It's really an invitation to experience, not just understand intellectually.
And then there's Hakuin Zenji's Song of Vipassana. Wow, this one really delivers a kind of seismic shock, right? Challenges everything we might think about seeking enlightenment.
It truly does. Hakuin's Song of Vipassana proclaims that all life is fundamentally Buddha. It boldly states, Nirvana is here, and this body is Buddha. It's radical. This poem fundamentally challenges you to stop searching outside yourself. Instead, find the sacred, the Buddha nature, right here, in the immediate experience of your own body and the world around you. It's almost a lament for those who seek liberation externally when the truth is so intimately close, always present. It's a powerful call to radical immanence, finding divinity right here.
And Meiho's Zen Vipassana, that reinforces Zazen, doesn't it, as the path to peace?
Yes, Meiho's piece really centers Zazen. It describes it as the direct path to complete peace, encouraging us to go beyond dualities.
Hmm.
It asserts that perfect Buddha nature is in your Zazen, making the act of sitting itself the primary source of all virtues. It elevates the practice itself.
Okay, and then Mumon's Zen warning seems like a really crucial reminder about the pitfalls on this path. What are the key dangers he's highlighting?
Luhmann's Zen warning is incredibly important because it's like a direct alert against common traps on the path. He warns against self-binding through rigid rules, clinging to precepts in a way that actually hinders freedom. He also cautions against the subtle idea that enlightenment comes from merely elevating or intellectualizing thought, from having profound ideas about reality rather than experiencing it. Instead, it's a clear, urgent call for direct, non-dualistic effort. He urges us not to postpone enlightenment by getting caught up in concepts or seeking some external perfect state. The core insight is really about avoiding spiritual bypassing, whether through intellectualization or false piety. It pushes you towards direct experience right now.
And finally, Torres Enge's Bodhisattva's prayer, that seems to expand the focus outwards towards compassion.
Yes, Torres Enge's prayer beautifully broadens the perspective. It describes how seeing Tathata suchness, reality as it is in everything, even in perceived enemies, allows us to view them differently. It suggests seeing them as a compassionate Buddha guiding us, helping us work through accumulated karma. It's about extending this awakened mind, this understanding to all beings, aiming for universal Buddha wisdom. It brings in that Mahayana ideal. What's truly illuminating about this deep dive into Songs of Zen is how it provides such a clear, direct roadmap to Zen's core teachings and practice. It really does. It's a profound testament, I think, to valuing direct experience over rigid dogma. It constantly guides us to look within and find enlightenment not in some distant future, but right here, right now, in the everyday.
So what does this all mean for you listening in? If true spiritual practice isn't really about striving or gaining anything new, and if enlightenment is simply recognizing what's already within you, well, what then becomes of our everyday efforts, our aspirations, and maybe even our very definition of success in this world? Something to think about.